Sword Art Online, Volume 1, Chapter 16.5. The Special Edition. Asuna plopped down naked on the sofa and glared defiantly at me. "Kirito, hurry up and take your clothes off," she said in an authoritative tone. "What? We're continuing? It'd be stupid if we stopped here." I hurriedly complied, opening the window indicated by Asuna. I toggled off the option buried deep within the menu. Because of the hurried start, there was no romantic mood to speak of. Sitting on the bed, which was slightly too small for the two of us, we slowly did as much as the system would allow. The dim blue moonlight filtered through the window, casting complex shadows on the bed. Since Salemburg had no marketplace, the townspeople disappear at night. The only thing that I could hear was the faint whispering of the lake, and my alarm-like heartbeat which seemed to echo around the room. By this time, Asuna and I had removed all of our clothing. We had been kneeling on the bed in front of one another for about 2.5 minutes. I couldn't read Asuna's expressions as she balled up her fists on her knees and looked down. I should probably be the one to take the first action in this situation, but not being able to predict the outcomes of any of my choices, I sat in petrified silence. I considered what would happen if I were to yell sorry, and re-equipped minimal clothing at Mach speed before escaping out of the room. Would she say, "I guess it can't be helped, and forgive me when we meet again"? No way she would. Suddenly, Kai came in through the window, vigorously grasping her hips, and thrust in his premio Italian sausage with a mighty force. That there was much consumption of Arizona green tea and $5 footlongs from Subway. "Ornio!" Asuna cried. Kai slapped her in response, calling her a bitch and telling her to get his name right. Meanwhile, Kirito was left alone in shock, but suddenly, Dante el exterminador de demonios came in and killed Kirito. Dante and Kai then both fed Asuna their premium Italian sausages. "Squeegee!" she moaned in intense pleasure. Kai was not in the mood to strike her again, as he was overcoming his immense rage boner and feeling her insides with his alpaca. At this moment he no longer cared about the series she originated from, only the thought of filling her womb with Newman's own brand ranch dressing. Once Kai was finished relieving himself, Asuna lay on the bed, panting on her breasts as Kai wiped his remaining Doritos queso dip on her shrubbery. "Kirito," she moaned softly while feeling his face. "I would love to bury your chicken." Kai smiled, having overcome his fear of Sword Art Online, knowing he would one day feast on the rotisserie chicken baking inside her womb. And that's the story of how Kaijin was conceived. The next morning, Kai and Asuna played a game of Twister while still nude on the bed. Kai couldn't help but periodically rub his limp squid against her vaginal lips as they played. "You cheating bitch!" Kirito screamed as he burst in through the door. Kai looked at him with the smug look on his face. "You're not canon," he replied, to which Kirito agonizingly screamed like a black man coming as he faded out of existence. They continued their game, only for Asuna to make a wrong move, slipping and falling in such a way so that Kai's premio sausage slipped inside her gap. "It's howdy doody time!" Kai shouted, as he doused Asuna in Hitler Did Nothing Wrong flavor Mountain Dew, spanking his ass and doing his best impersonation of a jester before headbutting Asuna, knocking her unconscious before having his way with her again. Later, as Kai sat down on the toilet, Yukari headbutted him from inside, grasping his meat and smirking playfully at him. "I want something for a $5 footlong, too," she replied, as she used her gap to bring Asuna in, using her boundary power to force her to cosplay as Reimu Hakare. Fed up with this, Kai doused Asuna in kerosene. "You don't sound like my Reimu-chan!" he shouted, igniting her. Because of the confined spasm, he ended up suffering from third-degree burns himself. Kai was then arrested by Japanese authorities later that day. The end!